ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Stuff Podcast on YouTube. My name's Martin O'Dell, a.k.a. The Lagom Chef, and this is my wonderful friend, George Egg, a.k.a. The Snack Hacker.
What you are about to watch is a sample from today's episode. However, if you want to enjoy the whole thing, go to Spotify or Apple or wherever it is you get your content.
Absolutely. So don't forget to like and subscribe. We are at the Stuff Podcast on YouTube. We are Stuffed.
Thoughts on Christmas dinner, Tom? What are you going to be having?
So thoughts first.
Yeah.
Christmas dinner is the hardest meal to match wine to because you've got every single flavour you could possibly think of on a plate. So normally with wine, you try and go, well, that might go with that might go with that. But I reckon Chef here is about to bring out something that's got all sorts going on. So tip is just match the intensity of the food with the intensity of the wine. It doesn't matter whether it's white, red, rosé, whatever you do, but you flavour some food, flavour some wine.
So, Martin, what have you got there?
I've got a Christmas dinner. I have to confess, it's one of my not so best Christmas dinners.
But I've got to say, considering you say it's one of your not so best, it looks very impressive.
Thank you. It's just the taste that's not so impressive. But we can talk about that. But basically, it's all the bits and bobs. So I've got some roasted carrots, potatoes, Yorkshire pudding, a miniature turkey, some roast beef, some Brussels sprouts, and some cabbage, and then some wonderful gravy. But yeah, like we were saying, or Tom, you said earlier, like Christmas dinner is one of the most complex meals to do any kind of pairing with.
You know, the really difficult one is that red cabbage.
Yeah.
Really difficult.
Is that because of the acidity in it?
And then but there's all sorts of flavours on there. I must admit, I don't normally do a beef and a miniature chicken.
What?
In fact, I tell you what.
Should we just call it a turkey?
Yeah, let's call it a turkey. Turkey, everyone.
When I the last few years, what my family has done is gone to Waitrose on Christmas Eve at about 3:00. And then let that determine what we're going to have to see what's reduced.
Oh,
and it's so much fun. No, but it's so much fun, and it's so much fun watching all the people sort of hanging around waiting for the guy to come out with the labelling gun. And then it's like
Boom.
Trafalgar Square where you chuck the pigeon food. And I've got some great little videos of people going nuts.
Should we have a glass of wine?
Yeah,
please.
you tell us.
I'm going to give you two
do.
wines that I think would be my choice to go with that because they're quite bold. They're smooth. I mean, you're going to work out you're going to tell us what they are, but you've basically got the same left and right. What am I doing there?
Right, so one of each.
Yeah.
So, I see what you mean. Right,
so
okay.
you keep your left and your right. I'm not going to tell you what's the least expensive one.
Okay.
Or what's...
Smells like Ribena.
One of them is $8.99 and one of them is 50 odd quid.
And shall we do the same at the same time? It feels like that would be...
Which one did you
I've
go
gone
for?
for the right.
Oh, great.
But I can swap. Shall we go for the right first?
Whichever
Gone for the right.
And Tom, for the listeners, can you... Well, in fact, for the listeners and for me, can you tell me how to taste wine, please?
Yeah, let's start with how to taste wine, and then we're going to go, you guys pick your favourite.
Yeah.
And then I'll explain maybe why it is. Right, so first things you want to have a look at it and just check that it's got the right colour to it. So if a white wine is hazy or something, that's probably either off or you're in some really cool wine bar in Hoxton drinking a natural wine.
Okay.
Which we're not.
In fact, I want to ask you about natural wines, but we'll come on to that in a bit.
All right, and then, but for a red, you just want to check that it's bright and it's got some nice rich colour, which this has. Then these are lovely glasses, but you can get any glass that's wider at the base and narrower at the rim will allow you to smell the wine. So I swirl it around like this.
And also, I guess it will allow you to swirl it without it flying out.
Without you unloading it over Martin.
It's hard to do in a mug.
Yeah. So, and then what that
them.
does is it pushes the wine to the top of the glass and it releases its aroma, its smell.
Oh, should we take turns to say something?
Yeah.
It smells oaky.
Yes, both of these have a bit of oak on.
Oh,
okay.
I didn't
nice, good. And oaky, but it smells. The smell you'll get is a bit of spice and vanilla sometimes from oak.
It smells to me. It reminds me of like a sort of creamy sherry almost.
Well, it's quite rich. And then when you take, you're already one step ahead.
Sorry, mate.
When you taste it, okay, push it all around. I mean, you guys, chefs, you'll know. Push it all around your palate because all your palate will taste different bits.
Okay.
Generally, front of your tongue is the sweetness. Yeah, and then you do a little bit of sucking like that.
A little bit.
And then you'll feel acidity on the side, and then let's have a go. Okay.
Okay, I'm going for the taste.
I'm putting my hat in the air and saying that is wonderful. I'm not going to say.
That is delirious, isn't it?
It's really really do. I think
That tastes like money.
does it?
That tastes expensive.
Or like credit cards or cash?
I'm saying I couldn't afford that one. Yeah, this smells like a Tuesday wine to me.
So,
Are you on to the second one already?
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
So just keep your left and your right. And the similarity between both these wines is they're quite rich and relatively, they've got a bit of oomph, which that needs. And, no, you wait. And I
They're
think,
surprisingly different colour.
yeah, they're different
That
colours.
one's
So-
much more sort of ambery,
Yeah, so
kind of, yeah.
You've got some notes in front of you, George. If you hold them above like this, you'll see that one is sort of more bright purpley and one is going a
Yeah,
tiny little
yeah,
bit
completely.
browny towards the edge. So one of them is 10 years old. The other one is 2 years old.
Okay.
No prizes for guessing which one.
Well, I mean, I think I'm going to taste. I'm tasting, listeners. I'm tasting wine number 2.
I love wine.
I do too.
You've got such a good job.
I do. I get to eat your food and then give you wine.
Well, that's not the best bit. I'll cook you a better meal one day.
They're both really nice, aren't they?
But George, they're both really good.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, golf clubs or something, or cars. Unless you're happy with what you're driving or what you're playing with, until someone shows you something that is like,
So
whoa.
this one is interesting. It's got quite a lot of bits in it. There's matter in there.
Oh,
I mean, I don't mind.
that's money.
But matter.
That's
But
crumbled
yeah,
up money.
But no, I like. I like.
So when
that,
you
but
have
that
a
makes it feel more.
right, when you have a red wine, to make red wine, you have to ferment a whole grape. So you ferment the skins and everything else, because the juice of all grapes is white. So white wine ferment grape juice, red wine ferment grapes. And then what that does is it brings tannin. And we've all tasted a cup of tea with a tea bag in it too long, no milk, and it sucks the sort of... Now, when it sucks the saliva from your mouth, when a wine is mature, and one of these is 10 years old, the tannin molecules all club together and deposit at the bottom of the bottle, which is your bits, which is why a really good thing to buy for Christmas is a decanter. And it actually can be a like clean milk bottle. It doesn't matter what it is, but just you want to get it off the sediment.
And when you decant a wine, that oxygenates. Is that right?
George, you can be in my game.
He knows what he's doing.
George, can you make me sound knowledgeable, all right? That your job is to make me sound knowledgeable. Right?
You sound you're very knowledgeable. I'm only going on just because I saw that there was a program some years ago with Marcus Waring versus a scientist. I can't remember the name of the scientist, where they were doing various things to supposedly improve. And I imagine you saw it, where he put a whole bottle of red wine in a liquidizer.
Yes, done that.
Whizzed it, poured it out, and Marcus Waring said, "Oh, that's sacrilegious." However, it does taste better.
Yeah, it doesn't look great, but yeah, oxygen means a wine opens up. So best wine of Christmas is the half bottle you've got left over to chug on Boxing Day, because it's had a night to sort of breathe.
And what's the kind of, sorry, bang the microphone, what's the optimum length? Because I would imagine, obviously, you get too far and then suddenly the wine's
young
no
wine,
good.
no problem. 3 days it'll be fine for optimum length. The day after is delicious. An older wine, you've got to be a bit more careful of, because it becomes more reactive to oxygen. And oxygen basically is great until it kills wine and starts turning it to vinegar. So for an old wine...
What are you looking, 3 days still? Or
No.
fewer?
I'd say 3 hours, 4 hours.
Oh,
max.
really? Get
Oh,
rid
that's
of it.
short.
That's
Wow.
my kind of drinking.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And you can
get it in you.
I don't want to
Cheers.
bore everyone so much, but I've had a wine that you pour into a glass, and it's a Pinot Noir, so it's a delicate wine from Burgundy in France, and it is like singing the most amazing song to you for 10 minutes, and then it just like whoosh, gone.
Wow.
So you've got to get on with it. I know it's
Short-lived.
just the most extraordinary thing.
Strawpedo it, mate. Get a straw, fold it over, get rid of the sediment.
So I've seen, and I'm sure you've, again, something you've seen before, the clip on QI where they're trying different wines and they identify them all wrong because they've served
Of course.
cold red and warm wine.
There's a dude who's much more of a dude than me, talks about wine for Bon Appetit. He's called Andre Mack, and he's got the 20-20 rule.
Is he the one that wears the cool hat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just too
He's
cool.
very cool, isn't
You
he?
don't ever have him on this show.
No.
Okay?
Okay,
He's just
is that
too
a rule?
cool. Yeah, too cool. Anyway, he's got the 20-20 rule, which is white wine, 20 minutes before you drink it, you take it out of the fridge. Red wine, 20 minutes before you drink it, you put it in the fridge. And that means,
Oh, right.
that means that this is a lovely temperature to drink wine, and it's just come out the boot of my car, and it's 2 degrees outside.
What car have you got?
I've got an electric car, so I can drive all
Or you
around
could just say
London.
something like a Bentley, then it's got like a refrigerator in the back.
Isn't
like
that
a wine
after?
fridge.
Isn't that after this show? I have a Bentley. Yeah. No. So you want to drink your red wine a little bit cooler.
Okay, yeah, because I've like put a bottle of red by the radiator, and then it's
turn it
sort
like
of soupy,
soup.
and yeah.
Can we just ask which wine you like?
This one.
You see, I want to say that one because I suspect it's the dearer one.
You haven't even tasted that one.
This one's bloody delicious.
Taste
I'm going to try them again.
That one,
Okay.
100%. This one makes me feel like I'm rich.
Yes. It's good. It's
This
good
one
feeling.
makes me feel like it's a nice one, but not a Christmas wine.
But do you think, you see, because I feel like I want to say that one because I think it's the dearer one, but then I wonder if I do actually prefer that one.
No, but I like the oakiness of that. When I smelt that one straight away, it smelt like corky oakiness. And that's how I like my
Corky's
wine.
not great, but it smells of things other than fruit.
Yeah.
So as a wine ages, the fruit sort of goes, and if it's got nothing else, then it's no good.
Right.
But if it's got all sorts of other things, then that comes through the sort of
Yeah, there's
oak.
so much more going on if you
They
smell
call
it.
it, the French call it terroir. It's where people like me get really wanky about it.
Go on, how wanky can you get?
So wanky.
Go on, can we go there?
Yeah. In France, when you're in a traditional area, this is French by the way, this one, you can't water your vines. So the only way the vine gets water is by drilling its roots deep down into the soil, often about 10 feet deep. And it sucks up all the nutrients from the soil, which gives a wine real complexity. And that's why the French will very rarely put a grape variety on their label. So this wine you're drinking, whoopsie daisy, round he goes. This one, you see, how are you meant to know what that's going to taste like? And that's what you've got in the right-hand glass.
So that's the dear one.
Yeah, they don't want the grape variety. So it's Cabernet, Merlot, and a tiny bit of Malbec.
I would look at that and it doesn't say pair with fish, so I'd be well confused.
But what it does say is, have a go on this and you'll feel well rich.
It does make me feel wonderful though, that one.
Yeah, it does. And that's sort of splash out Christmas Day wine. It is 50 quid a bottle, so it's very expensive. But it's a 10-year-old wine that is just incredible.
Should we say what it is, just in case the listeners may want to...
So, this is a Bordeaux wine. It's from a lovely year, 2014, and it's from a chateau called Roc de Com, which is, like, for wine wanky people, really great because no one knows about it. But it's owned by one of the most expensive estates in Bordeaux called Théâtre Roquebeuf. And this is all gobbledygook. You can't find this in a supermarket, I don't think. So if you want nice Bordeaux, you've basically got to be paying over 20 quid a bottle. And you don't want it too young. You want a nice sort of 6-year-old kind of wine. And you'll find them in Majestic, but extraordinary wine. And actually, if you go into these places, I'd say to everyone, don't be intimidated. Ask the guys in there, because they're nuts on wine. And they're actually really good people who want you to be drinking that.
And I would say as well, you know, although it's over 50 quid a bottle, if you go to a bar and have, you know, 4 glasses of wine or however many glasses you get in a bottle, depending on what size they're pouring, it's going to cost you that for something that would cost 12 quid in the shops.
But what would that cost you in a restaurant, though?
200 and something quid.
God.
Exactly. So get about if you're doing it for Christmas dinner. No, but if you're having Christmas dinner, then, you know, at home.
Can we talk about the other one?
Yeah.
Yes, please do.
This.
Because I really did like that.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Except he did it the wrong way round. I wanted to say, don't do that.
You should have told me.
No.
That's got loads of information on the back for me.
This will make you feel really poor. No, it doesn't actually say it. So this is an Audi wine, but it's a style of wine that I would always go for a sort of safe, smooth, really easy drinking, delicious wine. So it's a Primitivo di Manduria, which Primitivo is the same grape as Zinfandel if it comes from California. But when it's Primitivo, it's from the southern heel of Italy. Audi do great wines under their specially selected range. In fact, all the supermarkets do under their own label, like Taste the Difference or whatever.
We're just watching 3, 4, £5.
And Primitivo di Manduria is often the right side of 10 quid. It's juicy. It's got enough acidity to carry most of the flavours on that plate. And it is a chug it all day style of red. Soft, juicy, easy wine.
With that bottle, you see, I'm a label snob. I've already said I was seduced by the Iron Maiden label. And I'd look at that and think, they're trying too hard with their fancy shape, and it sort of looks naff.
Yeah, but George, if I've bought you a decanter for Christmas,
Exactly.
you
Yes,
whop
of
that in
course.
there.
But what I'm saying is that at the purchase point, I would probably look at that and go, that looks
Don't worry about the label. Do not worry about the label.
It's hard not to, though, isn't it?
So, you've got to guess the price of this one because I was...
Am I keeping my eyes closed?
No, you can open your eyes now. So this was, when we spoke about it yesterday... So on Christmas Day, we were talking about having something that's nice.
Yes, you spoil me.
Yeah, and I know you love rosé, and I know you love Prosecco.
Lovely wine merchant, the Co-op.
Yeah, the Co-op, hey. But then you said about Prosecco and champagne, and I, personally, had never heard of...
Cremant.
Oh, Cremant.
You got me one of them.
So I bought you a bottle.
Oh, no, that's proper.
Is that a good one?
It's really, really lovely. It's really lovely. Well, I'll tell you what's really lovely about it, and I'll be honest, I haven't tried this one, but Cremant de Loire is a really, really great place to be looking for good value sparkling wine. Because let's face it, most of us, even though we want to serve a champagne, because that's like, well, bougie.
Yeah.
But there's 8 areas in France that are allowed to call their wine Cremant de something. So the Loire is an area that can do it. Burgundy, Cremant de Bourgogne can do it, Bordeaux, and then a few others. And they make their wine in the same way as champagne. So, stick with me on this. You start with a still white wine. You then put a little bit of yeast and a little bit of grape juice, basically. Put a beer cap on it. Sorry, Mike. Beer cap. And it starts fermenting. And it doesn't release any of the carbon dioxide. It keeps it all in there. And that's our fizz. But then you've got a whole load of sort of scrumpy-looking shit in the bottle that you've got to get rid of. So they do this thing called riddling, which some poor bastards paid to do that for over a period of about 15 years. Not that, but a few weeks. And they ends up with the yeast in the bottom of the bottle.
Yeah.
You're with me, George.
No, completely.
They then freeze it.
But at the bottom without
you're meant to make me look good, yeah.
Hence the
and then they
slip
flip it over, and you've got this sort of plug, frozen plug. They flip the top off. The pressure in the bottle shoots out the frozen plug, and then they top it up with sort of magic solution, make it all look pretty, and that's your bottle fermented sparkling wine. That's how champagne is made.
Wow.
It's how English sparkling wine is made, and it's how Cremant is made.
Can we taste this and you guess how much it is?
Yes! First things first, how to open a bottle. If you want it to look like a real shit show, do what you've just done. But in all of these bottles, there's a little tag along a little rip section along the top that means that you'll get a nice clean thing to go around the top. And then never ever point this at anyone. Honestly.
You put it up and down a couple of times as well,
yeah, and never release. Once you release this, that's like...
Then it's
good. It's live.
Primed.
This baby's live. 45 degrees, and then you twist the bottle, not the cork. And then it will go just like that.
Oh, you've done that before.
Beautiful. I do this most days.
Really?
Yeah, about 10 o'clock.
Here's a question I've got. When people pour wine, there's the thing of holding it at the base of the bottle rather than holding it like that.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
I don't know. It's just all show.
Is it just an affectation?
Yeah. But that actually is quite...
I mean, I like it, but I just wondered if there's a reason behind it, or is it just...
Most of what we do in the wine game is to look good.
Yeah.
Or make other people look good, because we find... So the only thing that's worth... That is how to open a bottle of fizz, actually worthwhile. So I'm going to taste this.
Go on.
Okay.
Cremant de Loire. And generally, I reckon champagne sort of starts at about 20 quid, unless you go to Aldi or Lidl, where it's very cheap. And Cremant starts at around sort of 10 quid. And what you want to look for in a good sparkling wine is the size of the bubbles. So this has got... Small bubbles is good. If you have a Prosecco, not that I've got anything against Prosecco, it's like looking at a
I've seen a video where you thought you had a...
Yeah. Okay,
They look big from here, or is it just
Frothy,
that they've
not
been...
No, these
bubble
ones
bubbles.
at
Okay.
the bottom. If you look at the
I
bottom ones,
see.
George.
Little
Got it?
giddy ones.
Do you want my
Yeah.
specs?
It's like going, ooh.
Yeah. They're sort of...
Yeah,
They're
okay.
just working their way up gently. And then it's aged in bottle for a few months, this, so it should be quite sort of smooth. Cremant de Loire should be apples and a little bit of biscuit. Sounds good.
The one
Apple
yesterday.
pie.
Apple
Yeah,
pie.
yeah.
It tastes like apple tizer yesterday.
Appetizer. And it's quite nice and fruity. It's really smooth. You can have a go on this.
Yeah,
Straight out of the bottle.
Maybe get it in here.
I like that.
You
I was
like
about to swear.
You've sworn so much already anyway, so don't worry about it.
I'm going to try it.
It's good. Now, that is a little bit sweeter than the one I bought you yesterday.
I was going to say,
okay.
that tastes cheap to me.
Yeah, it's good, but it's got a little bit of sweetness to it. So mostly from a Cremant de Loire, you will get fresher flavours. But I think that's...
How much was the one we tried yesterday?
Fred? 12 quid, I think.
12 quid.
Taste the difference. Cremant de Loire from Sainsbury's, the nuts.
That was unbelievable.
It's the sort of wine that really pisses me off because I try and sell wine, and when they do things like that, I just think, it's unfair.
What do you reckon how much that one was?
Well, I'll tell you how much I'd pay for it.
Go on.
$8.99.
Can I have a guess?
Hang on, let me don't react. Wow, oh, really?
Oh, is that?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, was it
Yeah.
$8.98?
Yeah.
Can I have two guesses?
I took a picture of it. It was reduced from $12.75
to
£10.
Okay. I think, where's it from?
Co-op. I think the clue was in the...
That was the lead.
That's the one. Travel too far.
Tip though, if you go for the supermarket's own label stuff, so when they're actually saying selected by or taste the whatever it is, their wine buyers are so good now that you will get a really great wine.
Honestly,
a really good wine.
The reason when I went into the shop and I was like, well, I'm going to get him a bottle of Prosecco for a joke.
Yeah.
And then I saw
And you got me
Cremant and
that.
I was like, hang on,
Yeah.
this is what he said yesterday.
Yeah.
And then it's not as good.
Well, it's better than a Prosecco,
Yeah.
but a Cremant is generally at around 10 quid or more a top quality fizz. For,
The one yesterday, Taste the Difference,
Yeah.
Sainsbury's one, it was...
and we're not even on the
unbelievable.
payroll.
No.
And it's good.
I am. So yeah, it was lovely. Yeah.
All right, well, it's time now for you to try this and see
treat.
if you can identify.
Oh, I've got to identify.
Or identify, or just
have a go at it.
Just tell
So I'm
us
going
what
to
you
go
think.
how I taste wine.
Yes, please.
So first thing I do is look at it, and it's quite light. Can you see that? Light.
Yep.
So it's from a grape variety that is quite light in colour of the skin. So I can tell you what the best way to taste wine, blind, is by what it's not. Okay, so that's not a Shiraz. It's probably not a Cabernet. These are dark grape varieties, he says. And then, fuck it.
Let's have a whiff.
You've got to identify it.
Right. Oh, shit cans. Then you have a smell.
What are you guessing?
Give me notes.
So I think it's a fortified wine. All right. I'm getting a lot of. It's very intense, and I've got a bit of spirit on the nose. And it's sort of got that like sherry more than porty kind of aroma to it. And I'm thinking, do I have to put this in my gob?
Well, you might as well.
Okay, so then I have a little taste.
Just have a tiny taste.
Gosh. Now, it hasn't got that much alcohol to it, so it's not a fortified wine. As in, it doesn't make everything go really warm. It tastes like Vimto.
Do you like Vimto?
I love Vimto.
Oh, well, there you go. That's a start.
So the next one we got is really good.
And I have...
Is there another one?
Absolutely.
This is the sort of wine that I would... We didn't put this on the blind tasting marathon video because I would have got this wrong.
Bad engagement if you did that. I like how you do that.
Yeah, I want to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, it's about 12.5% alcohol.
Oh, is it that high, do you think? I mean,
You know.
here's a clue. I don't know.
I think it's about 12.5% alcohol, and I think it's probably from Europe, and I think it's probably a grape variety that I've never tasted often before.
Are you ready? Are you ready? It is my very own homemade blackberry
Fucking hell.
2023.
George!
It tastes like melted plastic.
In
Is
a
it
good
out
way.
of blackberries?
I get Tupperware. I get Tupperware.
Oh no, it's not a kit. It's
Made
just
out of fermented
it's made out
blackberries.
of blackberries. Yeah, that I picked in Sussex.
Okay, so I've just basically written a book all about how the only fruit that can taste different from the fruit that it's fermented from is a grape. I've got to finish this book in 4 days' time. I now realise...
Rewrite it.
It needs rewriting.
Just inserts.
Just that doesn't taste of blackberries.
I mean, do you think it's absolutely awful?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
As in, like, if you asked me to pay money for it.
Oh yeah, no, because I've made wine from kits and things like that when I was a student, and last year I thought I'm going to make some. We went forage and we picked too many blackberries. I got John Wright's book, Booze, made the blackberry wine via his recipe, and then when I bottled it a few months ago, had a little taste, and I thought it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And I want to try it next to
George, that's so good.
Right, you try that.
So is that the expensive one? Or you probably
That could have gone worse, by the way. I could have said that's a Burgundy. I love that. It's absolutely bang on. Exactly.
I feel mean. I hate, but you didn't think I was tricking you. It was more that
I'm going to trick you.
Perfectly fair game.
Right, and it actually led on quite well, considering you said you like Vimto.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a cheeky Vimto?
Ooh.
So,
That's a no.
No. Oh, very good.
I've
Right.
got to drive my car after this.
You just have to have a little sip or a smell.
Okay.
So this is obviously port. So one of my favourite things at Christmas is not the roast dinner. It's Stilton and port.
Yes.
So I used to do a wheel of Stilton and a bottle of port. Me and my mate just like...
Before the main course?
Yeah, before the main course. I'd skip that and just go straight on to port. But one of the things we used to drink a lot of in Essex is this wonderful liquid.
Now you think the homemade blackberry isn't quite so bad, don't you?
On the homemade blackberry.
But you wait. Welcome to Essex.
Yeah.
Just a little drop of port and a little top up of WKD, and it tastes like Vimto.
So good. What am I having it in?
Whatever you want.
A shoe.
You can have it. Yeah. Don't have to drink all of it. I'll finish it.
Are you ever going to have some proper wine people on this show?
Nope.
You won't now, I promise.
The show's going to get cancelled. But so yeah, just a little drop. You don't have to have
Very
much.
nice.
Yeah,
I quite like this, actually.
Is it a good one?
It's a banger. Taylor's LBV is really good.
Say about that. That should be Vimto.
Is that... Would you like to try this?
Yep.
Mr. Sommelier.
Mr. Sommelier, let me know.
Smell that, Sommelier.
Let me know your thoughts.
It's quite Vimto-ish. It's quite like the blackberry wine. Sweet, yes. It smells a bit like Prips and cough medicine. Totally Vimto. There's going to be a lot of people who love that on Christmas Day, including you.
Can I try it? Let's have a go on that.
George, if you can make a blackberry wine...
Oh my God, it smells...
Have I not? Did I say it? Oh. So basically, it is a port of any description. We've gone for Taylor's late bottled vintage port 2018.
I actually think it's not... I think it's got to have a good port like that.
Oh, that is a good port.
It's a nice port.
It was the only one they had in the co-op.
Do you know what I think that tastes like? Vimto mixed with black tea. Don't you think?
George, that's so good.
But doesn't it? It's got that like mouth drying.
Okay, he's trying to do a plug now, so should we let him do that?
Apologies.
I really want to get a WKD sponsor as well. So so it's port mixed with blue WKD. So this is something that is nostalgic to me from my youth. But it mixed together is a cheeky Vimto, and it does.
Okay,
taste like Vimto.
I'm a bit older than you, and so this is a bit after my time. Can you get this in different colours?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they come in like a 24 multivariable pack. You can get whatever you want.
So good.
Yeah,
It's like felt tips.
Yeah. VK Orange. Look, you said you'd sort out my Christmas wine. I'll sort you out a box of WKDs.
I've got I've got a little list of questions. Here's one that I want to ask you: is Merlot really that bad? Because I'm a big fan of the film Sideways.
Yeah.
And of course, he has his whole rant where he says, "No Merlot."
Yeah.
What's wrong with Merlot?
George, I've just given you one. Like, is that really expensive
Is
wine?
that was a Merlot?
Yeah. So Merlot, when it's grown well, is really great. Sadly, as per Sideways, it's quite often grown like just it's a mass-produced, like easy drinking grape variety that's generally shied.
Right, and that's why hence his.
Yeah. Which
his
is why
rant.
they don't put Merlot on the label.
Oh.
Yeah, because didn't Merlot sales drop after
massive,
the film?
Massive. So go watch Sideways, people. And you've got to drink a wine every time they do. It's a great game.
Oh, that's lethal.
Brilliant
Do
game.
you know what I can't believe
What's the
in the film Sideways?
Sideways.
Yeah.
It's a great film.
Yeah.
What I can't believe is the amount of drink driving in it.
Very good. Okay, should we debunk some booze myths? Do you like booze myths?
I love Booze Myth.
What have we got here?
White wine or champagne will freeze more quickly if ice and salt are combined in a bucket.
I've never done that, but you can chill a bottle of white wine or a bottle of fizz really effectively with ice and water in 20 minutes.
So that's all you do?
20 minutes, ice, water, boom, all
Bosh,
done.
in.
Yeah.
Well,
you don't need the salt.
So I do live cooking show on stage. Did a show the other night. Guy came up to me afterwards and said, "I've got a brilliant supermarket hack for you. I love this." He says, if you want to chill a bottle of white wine from the supermarket, go there first to the wine section, get the bottle you want, bury it amongst the frozen peas, go off, do the rest of your shopping, get that out last thing. You've got chilled wine.
That is
isn't that brilliant?
Yeah,
I love that.
So good. Your
Such a great idea. Oh, the next one is a classic. Go, Martin.
Well, I did this to him yesterday, and he almost threw me across the kitchen counter.
Yeah, I've got one of these. Go on. Are we doing a teaspoon?
Yeah. So it's putting a spoon in the top of a champagne or Prosecco bottle will keep it fizzy.
No.
Why? What is it? Who invented it? Why? What's the purpose?
I don't know who invented it. Absolute load of, yeah.
What will keep a
So you want exactly what Martin asked me to bring today that I forgot, which is a champagne stopper that you can buy off Amazon, and it's basically a plug that you've got to shove something in the hole.
Oh.
Get a plug in the hole, and a champagne stopper will just clip over the top, and it keeps it fizzy for as long as the wine's going to be good.
Wow.
How long, say, for a cremant, how long will it be?
3 days.
3 days?
Yeah, totally great.
That'll be gone in a day
Totally
anyway,
great.
won't it?
Yeah.
A couple of hours.
Exactly.
Okay, the deeper the punt, the better the wine.
Yeah, generally, the
okay?
further you can push your finger up its bum hole, the better the wine.
That one's got a little dimple in it.
I know.
Expensive.
Is there a reason behind that?
Because generally it's a more expensive bottle, and a good wine maker will put their wine in an expensive bottle. So, yeah, I mean, you look at these two. One's
Martin's just getting the WKD bottle and seeing how big the punt is. Oh, it's got a little nipple in that one as well, hasn't it?
I know.
Wow.
Yeah, so the deeper the punt, generally, the better the wine.
Okay.
But actually now, thankfully, wine people and the world are getting a little bit more conscious about what we put wine in. So you're beginning to get better wine in thinner, lighter bottles.
I was going to say,
because we're shipping this from all over the world, and it's
it doesn't affect the wine, does it?
No, not at
Doesn't
all.
do
It
that,
just
no.
affects whether we think it's good or
Isn't
not.
there a whole psychological thing that a heavier bottle, you think it's a better wine? Yeah. Because I've noticed something in the last, it's probably longer than I think, but in the last maybe decade or so, where you've started getting bottles with a kind of a bigger shoulder that remind me of the M in Madness. You know, where they look a little bit like a bouncer bottle. Do you know what I mean?
So good.
Yeah. What's that about? I mean, is that a certain type of wine that will be in that shaped bottle?
It's just well, generally a full-bodied wine will be in that shaped bottle, as in it's got
Where it's
shoulders,
got a little fat shoulder, as opposed to one that kind of goes gracefully down.
and a gracefully down bottle that you would find a traditional French Sancerre, Chablis, like Burgundy kind of thing. They're generally lighter wines. And so Pinot Noir is generally bottled in sloping shoulders. Cabernet and Shiraz and big wines have shoulders.
Big old boys.
Yeah?
That's really interesting. What about the colour of the bottle? Because sometimes they're super green, sometimes they're a bit browny green like that. Or is that just
doesn't really matter
what they've recycled?
It doesn't matter about that at all, really.
Okay.
Very good.
All wines improve with age.
Oh, such a good one. Such a good one. A turd doesn't get better if you leave it for longer. It's still a turd. So good wine gets better with a bit of age, particularly red wine. But
is it only red wine or is it?
No, generally speaking, white wine you want to drink within 5 years, red wine you want to drink within 10. So if you're going around shopping and stuff like that, unless it's really good, like that wine there, which is 10.
The
which is
50
10
odd.
years. Yeah, 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, that's not going to get any better. That's showing everything that it could be showing. So white wine within 5 years, red wine within 10, and turds don't get better.
And what about like where you've got bottles of wine that are decades old? I mean, are they just incredibly good wines? I mean, do they even get better? You know, when you've got like a wine that's 60 odd.
They're what we call fucked.
Really? And it's just purely a kind of artistic investment ego thing where people have got those in their sound.
And people come up with all this sort of stuff. Oh, look at this. And you just think, mate, I'd rather eat my grandmother's knickers, really, than the fucking drink.
How fascinating that they have that monetary value.
I know,
still,
it's ridiculous.
if that's
ridiculous.
So if I left my Rioja for 10 years, she won't get better.
No, she won't get better.
Oh, sad old me.